You are most welcome in my physics class, which is of class 12th standard. Today I want to discuss with you a new topic which is based on continuous distribution of charge. The topic is calculate electric field intensity due to uniformly charged ring. Let me first of all explain you what is a ring. Just look this one. Suppose this is a ring and it is circular ring rather. We have to, if it is charged, then total charge is distributed along its circumference. अगर हम इस रिंग को चार्ज करें तो चार्जेस इसके सर्कमफ्रेंस पर सारे के सारे डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो जाएंगे यूनिफॉर्मली. If we draw a line on both the direction passing through the central point and parallel to the horizontal, and this is this line is said to be the axial point. Okay, here we have taken a circular ring which is uniformly charged of radius a. The plane of the ring is supposed to be here in this whiteboard, just perpendicular to the plane of the board. Okay, an axial point is along this direction. So if we consider lambda with the linear charge density of this ring, then lambda can be written as equal to q upon L, and it also can be written as equal to dq upon dl. What is q here? In this present case, q is the total charge present on the circumference of the ring. And what is lambda? What is L here? L is nothing but it is the circumference of this circular ring. Okay. Then to calculate the electric field intensity at point P, which is at a distance x from the center of the ring. Okay, and let the distance of first of all we divide the whole ring into a small elemental length, or you can say the small charge element. Since here the charges are distributed uniformly or continually, that's why as earlier we have calculated the electric field intensity due to point charge. Here is the situation different. So we divide the whole charge distribution into a small point like charge. So take a small elemental length of this circular ring, where the length of this section will be dl, and the charge corresponding to that length of the wire will be dq. So dq can be calculated as dq is equal to lambda into dl. How this can be written? It is lambda is the charge per unit length, so the charge present on dl length can also be written as equal to lambda into dl. Okay. Here at point P, which is at a distance r from this charge element, if you look this figure, this is completely right angle triangle whose base is x and normal is a. So this r from Pythagoras can be written as equal to x square plus a square. This implies that r is equal to under root x square plus a square. Okay. Now we know the point distance of point P. We know the charge present on it. Only the electric field due to point charge element dq. Okay, at point P, which is dE, is nothing but 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 dq upon r square r vector. See, this is the r vector is unit vector along this r. It means the direction of electric field is, let us assume here, makes angle theta from the axial point. So magnitude of this can be written as equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0. This write as lambda dl upon r square. Okay, write this as first one. If we see here, this dE vector can have two possible component. Will have two possible component. One component along the direction of axial point, and the second component along the direction of perpendicular to the axial point. This one is the dE cos theta, and this one is the dE sin theta. Now take another diametrically opposite charge element, length element having charge same, you can say. So then dq, left the charge here. So the electric field, because of this charge element which is at the same distance as this one, will be d dash. And so we have two component here also. The angle is, because the angle is same, d dash sin theta and d dash cos theta. So if we write dE dash, this can be written as equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 dq upon r square. Okay, and this dq can also be written as 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 lambda dl upon r square. Okay, if we look these two equations, both are just equal in magnitude, that is dE is equal to dE dash. If you collectively see here, the electric field intensity, because of these 2 point charge elements, the perpendicular component dE sin theta and dE dash sin theta cancel one another, and the component of field along the axial point will be added each other because they are along the same direction. So the field along the axial point due to charge dq equal to dE cos theta. Okay, so the net electric field due to charged ring can be written as equal to E is equal to dE cos theta. That means line integral. And if we write dE 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0, in place of d you can write this as lambda dl upon r square. And if you write cos, the value of cos theta, this one is the, suppose cos theta can be written as equal to, here this is base, this is hypotenuse, so this can be written as x upon r. And what is the value of r? This is here, and right here x upon r. What parameter here changes? Only dl. If you write this, dl will change, other parameters remains constant. So we can write this as 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 lambda into x upon r cube integral dl over L. That means this becomes equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 lambda into x upon, in place of r cube we can write x square plus a square to the power 3 by 2, and in place of dl integral we can write 2 pi a. This is the circumference. Why? It is because integral dl can be written as L is equal to 2 pi a. So we have here, if you look this one, here we have written here, this implies that q can be written as equal to lambda into L, that is lambda into 2 pi a. Okay, so in place of lambda into 2 pi a, we can write this as 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 q into x upon x square plus a square whole raised to the power 3 by 2. So this is the electric field intensity due to uniformly charged ring along its axial point. Okay, now from this expression we have it is clear that E is directly proportional to x, but it is inversely proportional to the x square plus a square raised to the power 3 by 2. So you can't here directly say, but it is clear that E depend upon x, whether it will increase or decrease. Now let us take the a special case. Okay, a special case is right. A special case first. Okay, if point P lies at very large distance from C sorry, then it means x is very large comparison to a. X square plus a square can be written as equal to only x square plus a square power 3 by 2 can be written as equal to x cube. So E can be written as equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 q into x upon x cube, that is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 q upon x square E axial point. Okay, axial point. So this expression is very similar to the expression as we have obtained E due to a point charge at a distance x from any point charge. This looks like that. Means for a very large distant point of observation, this ring behaves as a point charge, or you can say it seems to be that whole charge is distributed rather on the circumference, just like it is distributed at the center C. Okay, so the second case is if P lies at the center, then what does it means? X is equal to 0. If a point of observation is center, then naturally x will be 0. So if we place this value here, then we will found E is equal to 0, E center. So there is no field at the central point because of charge distribution, but we have a certain field along the axial point, and the field is just along the axial point varies just as E is inversely proportional to 1 upon x square. Okay, so let us recapitulate this. We have been given here a circular ring of a certain charge, linear charge density. It means, and it has certain radius. So we have to calculate the electric field intensity at point P. Let us take total charge distributed here will be Q, and Q can be calculated as equal to, simply as we have earlier written, Q is nothing but it is lambda into L. Okay, and L is 2 pi A. Okay, now the point of observation P at a distance x, take a small charge element dl, and calculate the electric field intensity because of this charge element, and diametrically opposite end, calculate the electric field intensity due to this. If we see the electric field intensities at this point are having same magnitude because of these two diametrically opposite charge element, but the direction is different. If we resolve these electric fields along the axial point perpendicular to the axial point, then the component of electric field perpendicular to the axis of the ring will be cancelled out. Only we have component along the axial point. So because of first charge element, the component along the axial point is d cos theta, and the electric field, because of the whole charge distribution, can be obtained by integrating d cos theta over the length. Why we take only axial component? Because इसके सभी को अगर हम अलग अलग पार्ट्स में डिवाइड करें तो हर एलिमेंट का जो डायमेट्रिकली अपोजिट एंड होगा, that cancels the normal component each other and only the axial component survive. So the net electric field must be along the axial point except other direction. So we integrate d cos theta to calculate the total electric field, and we obtain here this expression. And this is not directly given in your book, but in many times it is asked in the your examination or in competitive exams or any other examinations. So you must know this topic. This can be treated as a theory part as well as a numerical part as well. Okay. So we will meet you on the next lecture with new topic. Okay, bye.